Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. I hope that you guys are well. In today's video, I'm going to be covering how to stay injury free as a runner. This is a part 2 of a little video series I'm making on running. Part 1 of this video is about how to enjoy running and the benefits of doing cardio. And in this video, I'm going to focus more specifically on how to avoid injuries, which is going to hopefully help you be more consistent with your cardio and your running so that you can achieve your goals. Number 1, make sure you have a good pair of running shoes. I would recommend the brand Asics. This is not sponsored, by the way. I am currently wearing my Asics shoes. This is what I wear to run. On their website, you will see different types of running shoes. I wouldn't recommend the trail running shoes. I've purchased those myself and I didn't find those super good for some reason. Maybe it's just me, but I like the Gel Nimbus shoes from Asics. Okay, other brands have really good running shoes as well, but I'm not familiar with them. The one that I've used myself is the Asics shoes. Get yourself a good pair of running shoes. It will make a big difference. Okay, don't run in Converse. They don't offer sufficient support. They also squish your foot as well. Okay, so try to get running shoes. Make sure the size is right. Okay, so your shoes should never be too tight, because when your shoes are tight, it squishes your toes together and that prevents your foot from absorbing shock properly the way it should be. Number 2 is gradually increase your mileage or your intensity. Okay, don't try to do too much too soon. Majority of injuries that people get from running is either from increasing the amount or the distance they run too quickly or increasing intensity too quickly. Let me give you an example. Let's say you've been running 1 kilometer every week. Okay, so week 1 you've run 1 kilometer, week 2 1 kilometer, week 3 1 kilometer, and then on week 4 you decide to run 4 kilometers. That is a big jump here, and this is likely to cause injury because your body and your muscles aren't quite used to that kind of distance yet. The best way to avoid injury is to gradually increase your distance over time. So the recommendation is to increase by about 10% each week of your total distance. Not what distance you run in one run, but how much you run over a week, not to increase that by more than 10% every week. Next thing I want to talk about is running frequency. So how often you should run every week. So a lot of, based on what I've read, a lot of people recommend when you're first starting out to run at least twice a week. Okay, and then you should be distributing your distance over those 2 running sessions. But this is highly individual as well. For me personally, I prefer to just run once a week, and that's because I do other form of exercise as well. I do a lot of resistance training as well, so I'm not going to be able to run as often as someone whose running is only the only form of physical activity. Okay, so this is based on personal preference, but what I would say is your running frequency should allow you sufficient time in between each run to recover. Okay, you should allow yourself enough time to recover both physically and mentally as well from your run. Okay, another thing you can do to avoid injuries from running, especially overuse injuries from running, is to include more variety in your routine. Okay, so if running is going to be your primary sport, so for example if you wanted to run a marathon or anything like that, obviously you're going to need to run to get better at running, but there's other things you can do as well that are complementary to running. For example, if you want to work on your anaerobic fitness, okay, you don't necessarily have to do sprints, running sprints. You can do your sprints on a bike, for example. Okay, so this will help limit overuse injuries. Okay, another thing as well that you can include is a little bit of conditioning and resistance training, just to condition those muscles that will then support your running as well. Okay, so for instance, my soleus muscle has been really tight from running. Okay, and what I'm doing now is I'm strengthening the soleus muscles with resistance training. Okay, another thing that I've been struggling with, like I mentioned before, are my hips getting really tight, and it's mostly my hip flexors getting really tight from running. And what I've done is I do a lot of resistance training to condition those hips flexors. I do that in the gym. Okay, so I do additional exercise just for general strength, but also to condition those muscles to support my running, so that those muscles are better able to absorb shock and produce force during running as well. Other things that I do as well, because I have a background in powerlifting and resistance training, and I do a lot of compound exercises like squats and deadlifts, that really works on your core and your posture. Okay, and having a really strong core and really strong posture really helps with running upright. Okay, so running upright is really important. Okay, because you don't want to slouch forward too much when you run. You want to have a slight forward incline when you run, but you mostly want to be upright, because you see it's going to improve your breathing while you run. Another thing as well to think about is shoulder mobility. Okay, because when you run, you need to think about your shoulder being in a good position and having really good mobility in your shoulders, and often doing mobility work and strengthening the shoulders can help with things like that. So what I would recommend is including other forms of exercise as well, not just running. I wouldn't recommend running, especially if you're just starting out. I would not recommend just running 5 times a week. I would include a little bit more variety, maybe cycling, maybe swimming, maybe some resistance training as well to supplement your running. This brings us to the end of this video. I hope that you found this video useful, helpful, and if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel as well, and hit that notification bell to see more of my fitness content, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.